So this episode, it was basically our first filler episode of the series, technically. A little early in my opinion, because this is only, episode 6, I believe? Or no, I think this is 7. I believe this is actually 7. But it feels kind of early to have kind of a filler episode. And even more so, it feels like there was 2 writers on this episode. Because it seems like there was supposed to be something that was going to lead into something else in the first half, and then we get a completely different story in the second half of the episode. And it didn't make sense to me. But let's just get into it, because, again, it's confusing. So hopefully I'll do a good enough job explaining it. But basically, the whole first half here is Don Yellow takes a special voluntary class where people from, the city, the area, they come to the school, and they basically teach them about their jobs and whatnot. And so obviously this week, or this specific class, I should say, Don Blue comes in. We get Don Red later on, but Don Blue comes in first. Basically tells the class, like, hey, I don't do anything for a job. I don't even touch money because money is gross. And then he imaginary eats, it was noodles and something else, and then somehow someone, or the whole class, can just see him doing it after a while. So again, that's why this kind of leads into, I thought this was kind of like an imaginary monster, because we even get Don Yellow, who, participates last in it, because, Don Blue's like, aren't you going to participate? You're going to have fun in this class with us? And so she starts dreaming of, being the #1 manga seller. And then she starts dreaming of how she meets her perfect husband. And then, for some reason, she starts imagining fighting a monster, and then she gets taken to this, like, imaginary monster world, in her mind, I guess, is the best place to say it. And she starts fighting the monster basically in her mind. And from here, it's like, okay, well, it has to be, maybe an imaginary monster's gonna, take them all into their minds and then, corrupt them or do whatever. But that's not the monster of the week, which is weird. So I don't know if we're gonna come back to this imaginary monster plot point down the line. If this is a one-time thing, I don't even know what to say, because it's just kind of weird to just kind of put it in there, unless there was, imagination monster coming up. But essentially, she's, fighting the monster in her mind, and then Don Red, Momotaro, comes into the classroom, blocks a punch from her, because she's flailing around the room, fighting this thing in her mind, doesn't know where she is, kind of confused, which again made it feel like it was supposed to be the monster of the week. It was so weird. So then Don Red comes in, and he's so truthful, and he explains whatever is asked of him and whatnot, and they just ask these dumb questions, and they're asking for money and all this crap, and he's just like, yeah, this is what it is. And then eventually, when they ask for money, it's just like, yeah, you guys shouldn't do that. You should go work hard and get money for yourself. Then, I don't know why every Don Ranger wants to fight and have a sumo contest with Don Red. Because Don Blue challenges Don Red to, trying to figure out what can beat him at and whatnot. And in his mind, he's thinking sumo wrestling, he's thinking arm wrestling, he's thinking thumb war wrestling, and he realizes, hey, I can't beat him in any of those. So I don't know if we're going to get all 4 going, hey, can I beat him in sumo wrestling? Which I don't know why they're doing that, but apparently all of them are going to think that way for some odd reason. Unless that's his magical power. He just wants to do a sumo wrestling with one of the 4 Don Rangers. But anyway, so they go through this whole thing. It's the tongue twister that it challenges him to, and doesn't win, I guess. I mean, it technically gets interrupted before they can finish. And that's kind of where this first half cuts off, and then we go right to the second half. And after it being so slow, then it picks up, and we're just full speed from here on out, and it feels like a totally different story, from here on out. So the Don Black is chasing this monster, which we saw one little scene in the first part, but there's nothing really touched upon there. Then we come back to it. Don Pink sees them, and so they're both kind of running around the city. They don't know, obviously, that each other know about the monster, but they're running around the city kind of looking for this monster. And then as Blue and Red are having their, tongue twister war, there's a guy in the back on his phone. There's a girl in the back doing her makeup. They get sent into these paper things, which is how the monster kind of captures the people. Then everyone gets freaked out, and this guy grabs his girlfriend. They try running out, and can't have love relationships. He basically takes them all, one by one. And then, for some reason, I don't know, this was never explained. I don't know if it's ever going to be explained, but when Don Red transforms, everyone transforms. And I don't know if I guess the monster kind of transported Don Black and Don Pink. I don't know why. Because they weren't in the room, they were out in the city. But basically, they get into this small little room, and you see their model transform sitting at desks. They get disciplined one at a time. It goes Don Yellow, Don Blue, Don Black, and Don Pink are disciplined kind of at the same time with their really terrible CGI. Probably because this episode there was a Megazord battle, so they kind of focused on that over the CGI of the Rangers, which it looks worse this episode than it has in past. But again, there was a CGI Megazord battle, so that's probably why they don't look too good. But then Don Red's turn to get disciplined, and he blocks the discipline punch, essentially what it is, tries to hit him back. The monster disappears, goes invisible, and so Don Red starts waving his fan, and somehow I guess he has allergies on his fan. And you see the spores come off of the thing. It's goes around the room. You hear the monster sneeze, and then they kick him through the door, this door that you can only see if you have the glasses on, or if you're transformed. And fight them. And then we have the evil Rangers. Blue is the only one that fights in this episode. Comes down. Literally, it's like 2 seconds. It's so fast. Comes down, fights them. And then we're back to the monster. And then they beat the monster. And then it ends like a lot of these other episodes have ended, where Don Red is training the other four and kind of beating them up and whatnot. And that's how it ends. Like, it's just, there's not a lot of substance here, not a lot of what's going to happen down the road. Again, unless that imagination monster comes back down the road, there's really no point to that. But it was a filler episode, which again felt really early to me. I don't know why. Maybe there's other series that have done it around 7 or 8. But this one felt really early compared to other seasons. Next week, though, we're going to get stuff with Don Pink's wife and then Don Black's girlfriend who's in prison. We're going to get stuff with that. Looks like it's going to actually progress the story next week. But this episode, I mean, you can literally just take it out. You don't have to watch this really at all. The pacing is so slow in the first half. And then again, it's just all wrapped up real fast in the second half of this episode. And it's just like there was 2 writers, one for the first half, one for the second half, and then they just both, or the guy for the first half just had to go do something else and couldn't finish the second half of the story. So I don't get it, but it's just, this is an episode where you can just skip. You don't really have to watch this at all. So for now, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.